Well, in this video, we are going to take the skills that we saw. I've already alluded to this. We're going to use all those skills for finding solutions to a line in order to graph it. So we already saw that this is called the standard form of a line here. Now, I'm not sure if yet in this one, we'll see other variations of this which can make it easier to graph without having to plot points, but we're going to plot points. Now, okay, so what they're trying to show, we've already kind of discussed this here. What they're trying to show is, first of all, are these points solutions? Which would mean we'd put them in, we crunch them, and they tell something that's true. We saw that already. The second thing they're asking is, are they on the line? Well, we've already discussed all this before. We know that those are the same thing. So they're putting in a point, we've done this before, and they got something that is true. 0, -3 is therefore is a solution. Now, if you go through here, we already know this is what's going to happen. 0, -3 is on the line, because that's what it means to be a solution. So I won't go through, we've done all this before, but we've got a solution, solution, not a solution. Well, just to confirm it, so if it's a solution, 3, 3 is that's a point on the line. 2, -3 was not a solution, and it's not on the line. -1, -5 is a solution, and it's because it's on the line. Okay, let's do this with just a couple more here. So I'm going to do A here. Let's find out if it's a solution. So I'm putting -1 in for y. I've got 3 times 0 minus 1. So I'm going to get -1 equals -1. So that's true. It's a solution. And guess what? It's also on the line. Now we'll try it with the other one. Now if you get it, you could just jump ahead and see if it's on the line, but we'll do one more the long way. So this is 6 minus 1, 5 equals 5. That's true. So this is a solution. That's a solution, so we're going to find it's also on the line. 2, 5, there it is. Okay, now I'm going to jump ahead here, and I'm not going to plug them in because we know that this is saying the same thing. I'm going to see if it's a solution by seeing if it is on the line. So 3, -1. That's not a solution because it's not on the line. Let's try -1, -4. It is a solution, and I know because it's on the line. Okay, now this is what I was already telling you here. We're going to plot points. You can choose any, so all this madness, this is what we're really looking at here. We've created a table where we could pick any values for x that we wanted. Notice they picked a negative so that our line is nice and balanced on our graph. They've plugged them in and they found the values of y that's their partners, which is what our entire last video was about. So we know how to do this. Now we're going to take these partnerships that we have and we're going to graph them. And then if you need 3, it's customary to expect 3 points so that we can make a nice accurate line. And there's our line. Okay, so I'm doing this freehand, so it's not going to be very pretty, but I'm going to do my best to graph this line. Now we can pick any numbers that we want. So I'm going to go ahead. Again, you don't have to have some balance to it. When you get to more advanced graphs, it's good to have it. But so I'm going to pick one negative number just so we've got a little bit of balance to this. I'm putting 0 in for x. And I've got 0 minus 3. Y is minus 3. Okay, so there's his partner. That's 1 point. We need 2 more. So y is 2 times 1 minus 3. So I get -1. Okay, there's another partnership. Let's do one more. Get -5. Okay, so I now have these 3 partnerships, which is all I need. And again, my graph will be terrible. I'm sorry about that. I'll do my best here. So 0 for x, -3. There's my first point. 1, -1 would be there. -1 on the x, down 5. So back 1, down 5. Down here. And then connect those points. Well, that wasn't too bad. And we have our line. Okay, you can always try this on your own. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to pick the same ones again. Again, you don't have to. It would work with any values of x because it's going to hit the line somewhere. So let's see what we get here. So there's my first point. There's my second. Now we've done this several times, so I'm just plugging in and solving. If you're not following me, go back to the old videos here. And I get 6. Okay, let's graph them. So 0, 4, 1, 2, -1 in the x, 6 in the y. Okay, so those are my 3 points. I can now connect them and make my line. All right, I think the rest of this video is just variations of this. Even though this is a very different looking equation, the game is the same. We pick some numbers here, plug them in just like we did before. They're probably going to show us. Well, even if they didn't, it's the same. Plugging 0 in, we'll work one on the next screen. Plot my 3 points. There we go. So let's do it ourselves. I'm going to just keep picking these, I guess. So y equals -4 times 0. Do you see that's going to get just y is 0? Putting in 1 now, moved on to the next point. That's y is -4. I'm doing the last one, plugging in -1. Crunch that. Because of the 2 negatives, I get a +4. Okay, so I have my points, and I'm going to graph it. So 0, 0 is right there. 1 in the x. 1, 2, 3, 4 down in the y. -1 in the x. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the y. And there we go. Okay, there's another one here. So I'm going to pick 0, 1, and -1. Well, do you see what's going to happen here? Y equals x, so it's going to be the same thing every time. So here are my points. So I've got that, got 1, 1, and I have -1, -1. Okay. All right, so the math got a little harder. Let me show you, well, let's see what they did. Yeah, they did the trick I would do. Now, look what they've done. Now, they filled in the whole table, but we could pick our x's. We're going to pick even numbers for x. And the reason we're going to do that is because if I put in, let me go ahead and do, look what happens if you pick 2. If you remember how we do this with fractions, we can cancel those factors. So 1/2 times 2, they would cancel, and that's just, so in case I'm confusing you here, let me see. This is what we're doing. You can cross cancel those, and you'd be left with 1/1, which is just 1. So this is going to be y is 1 plus 3. It's just a trick to make the math easier, and you'd get 4. Now I'm going to show you the other one. So why did they pick 4? Because of the same principle. Up here we're doing 1/2 times 4/1. You could reduce that down and get 1 times 2/1, or just 2. So that was 2 plus 3. That's where they got the 5. So what I'm saying is we're going to select some pretty clever numbers to make the math a little easier. Now let's do it again. Now I'm always going to pick 0 still, because that's going to make all of that fall out, make that real simple. But do you see I'm going to pick 3 because it will cancel out with the 3 in the bottom of the fraction. I'm also going to pick 6 because that would work as well. So let's do this. I'm putting in the 0. That'll just be y is -1. Now let's put in the 3. those will cancel. So if you don't remember, let me show you again. Those would cancel. That's going to turn into 1 minus 1. So y is 0. And then I'm running out of space here, but let's put in 1/3 times 6. So 1/3 times 6 over 1 is going to get me a 2 over 1, or just 2. So I've got 2 minus 1, y is 1. Okay, so I've got my points, and we cleverly selected ones that would make the fraction easy to work with. So x is 0, y is -1. That's the y-intercept. 2, 3. This is the x-intercept where I'm hitting the x line. And finally, 6, 1. Connect all those guys, hopefully. Not really, but trying to. And there's my line. Okay, try one on your own. If you want to pause the video, I'm going to start this guy. I'm picking 0. I'm picking 4. And I'm picking 8. So that I can get this to work out so nicely. It's going to be y is 2. Now I'm picking 4 here. I'm not going to show it again, but you see they'll cancel down and you'll get a 1 there. So y is 3. Okay, one more. I'm going to do putting in an 8 now for x. You might see the trick. I've done it several times so that you see that you get that. So that's going to turn into 1 times 2, or 2. So you get a 4 there. Okay, nothing left but the graphing. So 0 on the x, you get 2 on the y. That's the y-intercept. And now we get 1, 2, 3, 4 in the x, 3 in the y, 8 in the x, 4 in the y. Okay, and there's our line. Okay, they've done the standard form. Yeah, the point they've done here is, so again, because it was in standard form, they're going to find the intercepts. And finding those two intercepts would actually be enough. Usually that's customary that we wouldn't need the third point, but we'll just go ahead and pick the third one. So what I'm saying is we pick 0 for this one and 0, because with this form, it makes it very easy to find those intercepts. So I'll do the math on the next page. They found the intercepts, and usually that's all you need. We will take that, but they threw on a third point as well, and we graph our line. So because I'm in standard form, I'm going to pick the intercepts because the math will be very simple. Okay, and I'll just pick, let's see, yeah, just pick 1, even though I think this would be sufficient. So I'm putting 0 in for x. And this works so well because that will immediately be gone. So y is going to be 4, dividing both sides by 2. Okay, let's find the x-intercept is when y is 0. Divide both sides by 4. Get x is 2. All right, one more. I don't really need this point to graph it since I used the intercepts, but we will do it at least this time. So this is 4 plus 2y equals 8. We want the factor puzzle alone, so I'm getting rid of the 4. Divide both sides by 2. And I get this. There's my y-intercept. There's my x-intercept. And I'm just going to use those two. Oh boy. All right, that was a terrible attempt, but so I used the two intercepts. Customary that is sufficient. Okay, try one on your own. I'm going to set this up here. I'm just going to use the intercepts because it's set up in standard form. So I'm going to pick 0 to find the y-intercept, 0 for the y to find the x-intercept. It's always the reverse of each other. Okay, so I'm putting in 0 for x, get negative 4y equals 8. Y is negative 2. All right, we're going the other way around. So I get 2x equals 8. So x is going to be 4. So I'm doing all the steps. I hope you're feeling comfortable with those now. So I'm just doing the two intercepts. I'm going to graph those. So when x is 0, y is negative 2. When x is 4, y is 0. So because I did the two intercepts, I'm going to connect them. And there's my line. Okay, so I'm imagining there's more graphing coming up, but that's how to use the standard form, how to pick our points. We already discussed all of that previously. Now we just put it all together to make the graph.